Well, we're back with Breaking Bad season 3, and the first episode's called No Mas. No, I want Mas Breaking Bad. Let's get into it. Like two guys crawling out of a car, crawling up a road, the guys are back with Breaking Bad this week. We're breaking it down. That was way more of a tongue twister than I wanted it to be, but we're back with Breaking Bad season 3. We're finally here. I'm excited.
A Breaking Bad.
Hell yeah.
You finally got it out. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, it just took a lot to get out there. But yeah, we are back. Season 3, episode 1 of Breaking Bad. It is titled No Mas. I'm pretty excited about breaking this one down. I think no idea where the show is going after the very tragic season finale of season 2, the plane crash. We do feel the aftermath quite a bit in this first episode. We kind of see all our players slowly kind of regrouping and reconnecting. We don't see all the characters, mind you, but we do see our big players, Skyler. We see Hank, Walter White, and Jesse, and even Walter Jr. He went by Flynn and Walter Jr. this episode, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Well, only time will tell, but really excited to dive into this episode, and we should just dive into it right now. So take it away.
Yeah, it's a great like establishment episode of what kind of recapping where everybody's at, looking at where we're going to be moving, just introducing the season and where our characters are. So let's look at it. Here's our summary. Breaking Bad season 3, episode 1, entitled No Mas. Our season starts with the aftermath of how the last season ended. Planes crashed, tragedy struck, 167 people dead, and one man to blame. Or two men. Maybe three? Frankly, I blame the government. Walt, overcome with guilt in an empty house, attempts to burn all his cash, but thinks twice. Skyler seeks out a quick divorce with as little questions asked as possible. Hank helps Walt move out. Walter Jr. is blaming his mother for kicking Walt out with no obvious reason that's been stated. Jesse is in rehab trying to accept who he is and what he should or should not be blamed for. Walt freaks out at a school assembly trying to process tragedy before Skyler comes over to deliver divorce papers. While she is there, all secrets are revealed.
Yes!
Skyler guessed Walt was into drugs, but never thought it would be meth. If he signs the divorce papers, she won't tell anyone. Jesse leaves rehab and crashes at Walter's new place, accepting that he's the bad guy in the story. Walt gets a generous offer from Gus to keep working for him, and he decides his family is more important than money and says, no mas. Oh yeah, and there's two random Mexican guys crawling and blowing up their way across the border out to hunt down the legendary Heisenberg.
Do we really think they're some two random people? No, they gotta be. That they look so much like Tuco. They gotta be related. They got to. It looks like just like the guy. Spitting image. I don't know. Maybe not that spitting. But anyway, that is exciting. Biggest stickman. Who would have thought the biggest stickman of the episode was a stick figure drawing they put on that shrine at the beginning of the episode.
I didn't even think of that. That's good.
Yeah, love it.
All right, what'd you think?
I immediately regretted taking a week off. If you're listening to the audio format, I said, that's Christmas break. Let's just take a little break between the seasons, how we normally do it. Let's get back in it for the new year.
I just want to keep going, man.
Oh, we should have. I talked to Todd as well. He said, now I have to go a week without listening to you guys ramble on about Breaking Bad. But yeah, I'm excited to get back. I don't think we're taking another break going forward. We're even doing El Camino. I don't even care. We're going through. I'm too much into this show right now. I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this all week. This first episode is definitely a kind of a let's get acquainted with all these characters again. Let's see where they're at. Let's introduce some new big bads probably that are finally coming to fruition. We're gonna see kind of that the family ties. Probably that's where my guess is going because who else would it really be? But we are crossing international borders, and they're crossing over as well. We had one of the biggest, most awkward scenes in the entire show so far with that whole freak out at the assembly. Even Carmen, the principal, right? Yeah, it
Mhm.
was just like, yeah, let's knock it off, but let's cut it out. Anyway, that was great. I liked Walter Jr. quite a bit in this episode, standing up to his mom and say, "Hey, I need to know information too." Crying out loud, I'm a 35-year-old kid playing
I'm
who's
a 35-year-old teenager.
yeah, playing a 15-year-old. Come on, you gotta let me know these things. Skylar's eyes really bugged me in the apartment scene when she's giving the divorce. I don't know just how that scene was lit. It really just seemed like it's all one. I don't know. They were weird looking to me, but
Yeah, I feel
she
like she changed a little bit, like,
she
between
definitely
seasons.
her appearance is definitely changed. She's
Mhm.
definitely not pregnant. No, definitely her
This
appearance has
is
definitely changed.
true.
Yeah, thank God. Fair, and they like to show the baby as much as possible now, which is awesome, or as much as they're legally able to. But great episode. Really liked it. Liked it a lot. I wanted Saul. I wanted to see Mike. We got to see a little bit of Gus here as well. So we got to see some of our players, and looking forward to seeing what the future players are going to be coming into play as well. So a solid. First episode in the season. It's not quite season two entry into the season, but it will do for now. So, what do you think? Rewatching it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it really felt like a setup episode.
Mm,
Like, this is setting the stage for everything that's gonna come.
yeah.
First, white family, everything's out there now, and nothing's changed with Skylar. And you just kinda get these little snippets of here's where this character is.
Mm,
Here's where this character is. Here's where this character is. And you get to go through and see, all right, the aftermath of what happened. Here's where we are moving forward. And usually after an episode like this, chaos comes next. So we'll probably be seeing some chaos pretty soon. I'll tell you this, I don't know this season near as well as I knew season two. So there's going to be things that, like, I started it and went, oh yeah, the crawling through the desert is the way this season opens.
yeah, I
So
was kind of caught off guard by that. I was like, "What the heck's going on?"
it's odd. It's odd. But yeah, no, this is a fun one though. This
Yeah,
is a fun episode. Well, let's get into it.
yeah.
Best scene. I have a feeling I know where you're going.
Mm, no, I don't think you do.
Oh,
I'm going with the best scene of the episode is when Jesse says, "What have you actually killed somebody?" to his the group leader.
that's
Oh,
great. That's a great
it,
scene.
yeah, and he's realizing like, no, I freaking I had Coke. Coke was the problem. I had plenty of it. It was my birthday week. My birthday was the next day. I had plenty of it. It was the vodka. It was 4.50, and they closed ABC or eight. Uh, where the liquor store closes.
ABC, I think is what he
Yeah,
said.
ABC. Yeah, the liquor store closes at 5, and fight with my wife because they're not gonna sell me any vodka. So I freaking stormed out. Daughter didn't know my daughter was playing at the end of the driveway, and put two and two together. He ran over his daughter like in his state. So yeah, very tragic way to open have that's character revealed. Obviously, I don't think we might not see that character ever again for all I know, but that it's definitely a memorable like kind of little scene, and also gives Jesse time to reflect. It's like, oh, I got to take ownership over what I've done, and with Jane, and I how the episode did start, I definitely feel like they ran Jane's father through the ground a lot, like through the ringer. But then I do how like they tied it in. It's like, why did they put him back in the field after such a tragic loss so soon?
Mhm.
I like how they kind of defended him at the same time, which is good. But yeah, how it opens and how this scene plays out, we get that one final kind of moment of remembrance for Jane and kind of what happened in the last thing. That's kind of the final like real straw for that. So I'm sure a big national like event like this. the airplane crash is going to be probably brought up maybe a time or two again because of how self-contained the show is. But uh, definitely this scene was something that Jesse needed with this group leader here. And he has played, I had wrote, well, I don't have the tab open anymore. But anyway, he was an actor that I had no, I've seen a movie that he's been in. It's Life Size with Lindsay Lohan and Tyra Banks. It was where she turned
Gosh.
her doll into a life size
Played by Jerry Burns.
Jerry Burns. Yeah, so I've seen that movie way back as a TV movie back when I was a kid. So he apparently was in that one and another movie I've seen too. But Jerry Burns, yeah, I think he did really well for this episode. Not an actor who gets a ton of work, but yeah, really a solid little performance there from a little minor character though. So good scene.
Yeah, that's a great call. Well, and that's a scene where Jesse realizes that he's not the only one that's screwed up in life. Like
True.
everyone has screwed up,
Mhm.
and everyone has their baggage. Everyone has their skeletons in their closet, and it's how you move on. It's how you move forward from that. And yeah, that's a great one. I had 3 written down. That was not one of them. But all of mine I feel are kind of connected because all of them are Walt interacting with different characters that are at different levels of knowledge of what's going on. So first you have Walt and Hank when Hank is helping him move out and talking about how, around the office is the worst it's been since 9/11. And then it's like, "Oh man, what are you carrying in here? Cinder blocks? Half a million in cash." And he just straight up tells him, like, "I don't care. You're not going to believe me anyways." And just the interaction, the cat and mouse they
Am I
have
talking too
without
much?
even
I feel like I'm talking
realizing.
too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just great. So you have that. Then you go to the next level of Walt and Skyler, which is where I thought you were going, because that just the way Skyler's like, "You're a drug dealer." It's the only way that makes sense of how you got all that money.
A scene that I've been saying that's going to happen as one of the series finale moments
Yeah,
last season. So it actually does happen.
and he just comes forward and it's like, "It's meth. I'm more of a, distributor and all this." And she does exactly what she should do in that moment. Um, it's a great scene. And then there's a scene of Walt and Gus, and where it's all the cards are on the table. 3 million for 3 months, and he says no. I mean, oh, that's that's tough. That's tough. But like you said, it's like I have more money than I know how to spend. What I don't have is my family. He's like, I have full all the respect for you in the world and how you do your business. Like I loved how he approached it. He's like, "You're extremely
Mhm.
professional, but this isn't me." And he walks away. "Have a nice day." And it's just that moment. You could tell there's a moment of mutual respect between the two of them that I thought was just great. So those are the 3 I had written down.
And there's also another interaction with Walter Jr. in the car
Yeah,
and on
that's
the
a good one
and
too.
over the phone too. Um, it's funny did not care for his dad too much leading up to this, but now that his parents are split, cares for his dad, which is very interesting.
Well, because he sees no point. It's like, why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
And
And
from his
also
perspective, I don't blame him for what he knows. Yeah.
my a question about that breakfast scene is she didn't change the answering machine. He doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah, one of those things you don't think about until it goes
Until
off
it
and you're
until
at
it goes
home.
off. Well, what's an answering machine really nowadays, right?
Right? Right?
That is true.
We just have AI take care of that for us now.
Yeah, exactly. Or text. Yeah, great scene there. Great scenes actually, I should say. So good stuff there. Sure.
Right. D. Ken wins douchebag of our season opener is.
I originally wrote down the group leader from the first. I didn't
Oh,
know he was going to come back in because he said, "So who thinks that they're the?" I can't remember the exact dialogues. Like, who thinks that they are the reason why they're to blame, and they all kind of raise their hands.
Oh yeah.
We're wrong. Actually, what you should have done was this. So basically, it's like, yeah, you basically gave them an option to raise their hand to make them feel like they're idiots. It's like, I know you're trying to teach a lesson there, but I was like, whoa, okay, that's kind of funny how that
Mhm.
came across.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest douchebag though of the season as the week progressed was that high schooler who basically
Oh.
said this also goes into my dumbest thing said. It's just like, so there's this program in college that if you go in and you walk into your dorm and your roommate commits suicide, they give you an A. That's what should happen here.
Because it's
It's
a tragedy.
a tragedy, man.
Yeah. I that's the one scene that I remembered vividly from this episode. And it wasn't that one. My douchebag is the other one. That's just like,
Oh, the
so
girl.
my neighbor in his yard, there was like one of the
Oh,
seats from the plane
oh yeah.
that just had legs.
No, it gets worse
Is
than that. Yeah.
it?
There's a lot of dumb things said in that line.
I mean,
They
it
found
was
this.
it was a
Yeah.
perfect high school boy
Yeah,
reaction. It's like, well, I have permission to say something really, really nasty right now, and I'm gonna say it,
it's good.
and no one can do anything about it.
Yeah, that's true.
And they get mad at the other guy, uh, and not him. I thought it was funny. But Walt was like, "You're such an idiot."
Yeah. Can we kill it? Can we please? Or what? The other lady brought up like God in it too, and she's like, Can you keep it?
Keep it secular.
Keep it secular, please."
Oh yes.
And stuff.
Um, the Pinkman Stickman Award. You've already said yours.
Well, it's got to be either the stick figure or that little, you know, what's it called? The little thing
What,
that
the
they're
shrine?
the shrine. That's the word. I don't know. I wanted to say sanctuary, but I knew that was the wrong word. The shrine. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got to
that's
be
good.
that.
I have the goat
Yeah, that
because
was the other option. Yeah.
I mean that goat's got a beamer now. I mean that's quite the flex for a goat. And
Well, and he did go in a hole.
and he's a goat. So
And he's the goat. He's the greatest of all time.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right.
Do you think those
The
parents pushed the daughter out of the way to get the car?
um
Could they be the
question.
biggest douchebags of the episode? Unseen douchebags.
I don't know. That girl looks like one that would just be like, "Mommy, Daddy, what's this?" And I'm like, "We'll take care of that. We'll take
Yeah,
care of that, honey."
we gotcha. It's a write-off, tax write-off. It was a gift.
Best new face. Hey, that's Danny Trejo. I went with the group leader. We've been
Yeah,
talking about him for a while,
good
so
call.
I'm going with him because I he's one of those guys, like you said, that I remember even looking up his filmography when I first watched this, and I don't really know if I remembered anything. But he's one of those guys where I'm like, I know you from something. I don't know what it is, or you just look like somebody. I don't
Or
know,
you're
but
a doppelganger or somebody.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good
So that's
call.
what I'm going with.
All right. Well, I wrote him down too, but I also wrote the other person down, which would have been Pamela Orbeck, which is played by Julie Dretson, which would be the unnamed uh, lawyer or yeah,
Oh yeah.
lawyer for Skylar. So went on and kind of was reading us like a synopsis, and this character came up. I didn't even know that she had a name, but they said like they just basically were interesting about that character though. I don't without going too much deep diving. I was trying to restrain myself, but it was kind of fascinating that they revealed her name like on a podcast, Breaking Bad podcast, like the actress did or something like that. I wasn't
Oh,
even, it's because it's a character who's not named in the show, but she has a name and a last name even.
oh, interesting.
So they revealed the first name on one thing and then her last name on another thing, which
Huh.
was interesting.
I didn't
So,
even realize that they never revealed her name. That's interesting.
so yeah. So
All right.
that's her. She just wants to, make sure everybody's hiding assets. So
Yeah.
yeah, gotta
There's only a few
done.
hidden right now.
Yeah.
Good old Uncle Seymour.
Uncle Seymour.
All right. The Gomi minor character of the episode goes to.
Man, if you army crawl in like a suit, man, those are pretty awesome guys. Plus, they have a
Mhm.
nice car. They have a badass. Anytime you walk away from something exploding, you're going to be on this list. That's pretty much a given, unless you're like Will Ferrell or Mark Wahlberg and the other guys. But you're pretty much going to be like walking away from something exploding. Yeah, you're going to be on the list. So the cousins, the twins, whatever you want, whoever those two guys, mysterious guys are. Pretty dang cool looking dudes. Pretty good shots. They have pretty cool cowboy boots that reveal something, some kind of gang I guess they're in or something like that. Was a skull on the toe. That one guy in there. I don't know what his name was. I don't think he said he was saying like he was part of something too, but I guess whatever. He didn't last long. Nobody in that cart lasted long. And if
You
he
have
didn't
no
open
name.
up
You have no shot.
yeah, if he didn't open his mouth, those people probably still be alive. So,
Yep.
or if he didn't recognize the boot, I think that's the thing. So, if he didn't say anything, maybe that guy's the biggest douche. Who knows?
I have
Anyway,
him as my LVP.
well, that's a good call. So that's the guy.
All right. My favorite minor character is Gus. He's just got the one scene. He barely says anything, but he is just like he acts so much with his face in this where it I mean you just see his face in this stone face as Walt's talking to him about
Oh,
why he's quitting, why he's not doing it anymore. He goes, "That was standing, I would still like you to hear my offer." It's like and it's like, oh man, he's just so dang cool. And he just has the one scene, but he's one of the more memorable parts of it. Now that you remember who Gus is, I could tell by the look on your face. You're
I
like,
was like,
wait,
wait,
Gus?
Gus.
Gus?
The guy. I was like,
Gus?
oh yeah, Giancarlo Esposito. That's the only thing you
Yeah.
should go by.
Oh,
He's the cool. He's like the coolest guy in like everything, like Mandalorian, The Boy. Like he's awesome on these shows, man. Like
even in a short sleeve, bright yellow button down and a tie working at a fast food chicken joint. He's the coolest guy in the room.
he makes Colonel Sanders look like a wimp. Like yeah, he's awesome, and he's a colonel, and Gus is just a drug dealer. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah,
He's a colonel, but Gus is a kingpin.
oh, there we go. Even better, even better.
Better.
Good. I like
All
that.
right. The cow house. Dumbest thing said.
There's a
I think
couple.
there are several things here.
Going back to the assembly, you got to go with the kid who like kills himself. Oh, I think you get an A, but I'm gonna take your guy instead. So they found this like airline seat, like from an airliner. Pretty stupid. You said airline seat, like from an airliner, like complete stoner way of saying it too. No, and they basically just repeated the same like, yeah. So it crashed from the plane, the plane that crashed or what, whatever the case is.
Mhm,
But yeah,
mhm.
dumb.
But it's so high school talk though. Like you talk
It
like a high
is.
school boy. All right.
But
So
maybe
I've
that's
got
just
two. Oh, go
maybe
ahead.
that's my midlife crisis coming out. Like I just hate young people speak. Maybe that's what it is.
That's good. So my two dumbest things said dumbest things said. One is in my banner, Marie. Hey, how's tricks? Like what?
What?
Tricks. It's an expression. Like no, it's not.
No one
No one
said
has
that.
ever said that ever. So there's that. And then Walt goes and picks up Jesse from rehab. He gets in the car and he says the most Jesse thing ever. Your windshield is broken.
Yeah, should have said yo
Yep.
afterward, but yeah, good call.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, it is. It's pretty obvious there. I love that one. All right. Any problems? Anything outdated you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, flaw that paper that the papers Walt says that Skylar was throwing in his face, the divorce papers. That's clearly just a Manila envelope. There's nothing in that, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I've seen divorce papers. They're like at least this thick, like this binder thick. There's a lot of paperwork you have to freaking sign. There was nothing in that envelope,
Doesn't
and
like a
also
doesn't someone like serve those? Not. like the wife go and drop them off.
Generally, well, unless there's like a mutual, I guess it all depends on the circumstance, I guess. But also, uh, so we had that biggest school assembly. That there was a lot of stuff wrong with that. You're a teacher. Was that is that a good ratio of students per teacher per capita? Like there was 8 teachers sitting there. It's
That's
like,
a
and
great call. That's a great
should
call.
we say anything about our faculty? You have 1 principal, no vice principal there. I see some cooks, some janitors in the background, but 8 teachers for all those students? Are you telling me like everybody isn't? Yeah, no. That did not seem like a good, count legally speaking. Yeah.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Um, Midlife crisis moment.
Oh, you didn't have any flaws, outdated
I,
stuff?
di-
No.
I didn't have anything I came up with. No.
Okay, well, midlife crisis, using the word, I say house tricks. So basically, using slang to calm down the tension in a room. That's definitely something that you learn over a great long time in your life. How can I make it even more uncomfortable? Oh, let's try to tell a joke when everybody's like on edge because it's not going to either you're going to laugh at it or you're going to be even more mad. I think that's
Or just simply trying to understand the slang of the day.
that is true.
Like
That's a good point
I
too.
mean, I'm a teacher, and like when
House
I
trick.
started teaching, like oh yeah, I'm right here with these guys. I know what's going on. I was, early to mid 20s, and now I sit there and listen. I'm like, what are you even saying? I don't understand a single word you just said.
You started teaching when you thought "Raise the Roof" was still in style. Now it's like no cap.
Yeah, yeah. Slay. I'm like, what are we
Slay all
doing?
day. I came to slay.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
Good call. I like
My
it.
midlife crisis moment is studying and getting way into like stats around tragedy and major thing. Like it's that whole phenomenon where everyone's talking about now that guys think about ancient Rome, like what is it, like 5 times a week or something like that. And it's just why I don't know, but you're fascinated by, you can't look away. Like you're scrolling through social media and you come across one of those articles of, the most tragic photographs ever taken. Like, well, you got to look at that. Like
I gotta look at
what's
people. I gotta look at photos of Pompeii. I gotta look at stuff like that.
yeah,
I gotta.
yeah,
Yeah.
or the last photograph ever taken of different people, and like, well, yeah, you got to look at that and read out. And
Yeah.
it's like, this is disgusting yet fascinating.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta know more.
you do. So like, yeah, when Walt just starts spouting off, and I know he's doing it to try and rid himself of guilt and justify it all, but at the same time, it's like that stuff gets fed. Like it's a 50th worst air disaster in history. No one remembers the first one. Want to know about the first one? I'll tell you everything I know about it because I know everything there is to know about it.
People move on.
I feel like that's something where if I came across it, like the 50 worst airline disasters in history, I'm like, well, I'm reading that article. That just sounds fascinating. And yeah, so
Next on
that's
Almost
mine.
Sideways, top 10 most famous movies with airplane crashes in it. Okay, that's our
Hmm.
next power rankings. No,
There you go. All right. LVP, I already said, is the kid who wouldn't shut up in the migrant van.
that's school assembly. That's
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's
What?
school assembly.
Who thought that was going to be helpful to anybody?
Yeah, no, let's give kids an open mic. I'm surprised that, yeah, let's give kids an open mic.
Open mic, an all school open mic. I
Yeah,
mean,
dumb.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
dumbest thing said was whoever said that was a good idea.
that's a
Um,
good call.
MVP of the episode.
The group leader, small
Mm,
group leader, because he'd been there, he'd done that, he killed that. Yeah, he's the bad guy.
and I'm going kind of similar. I'm going with Jesse
Yeah,
because seeing
good call.
Jesse and where he's at now, it's fascinating to see where he's at, who he
Daisies.
is,
Yeah,
He has a very different vibe to him
Hmm.
entirely. So
Very interested to see how how Jesse and Walt interact with each other now. So it'll be very interesting to see that, especially when Walt's basically said, "You're on the couch, bud."
yeah.
Be very interesting to see what's going on with that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've reached the end of our categories. So we're going to talk about what you think is coming up next. But before you do, to update us, the Walter White body count: 2 drug dealers, 1 car, 1 custodian's career. Poor Hugo. He should have been at that assembly. 1 drug
Oh,
dealer's hideout, 1 lock, 1 uneaten burrito, 1 paper towel holder, 1 house full of rot,
rot.
1 back door to Jesse's house, 1 love of Jesse's life, and a few burned $100 bills.
Ooh, good one. We got a new one to it. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, but speaking of which, why
Just the outside. The outside got singed. There's a couple in there that were probably ruined, and the Jesse ass kicked count remains at 7.
Okay, hold on a second. You brought up a very good point here. We didn't talk about this opening scene. He sets the dollar bills on fire, right?
Mhm.
He drops them into the pool. He's still in the midst of cleaning the money out of the pool. How fast does money dry?
Ooh. Well, maybe
Okay.
that's why the bag was so heavy.
But wouldn't it be, it's a duffel bag. Who knows? They
It
made
might be waterproof, but you're
might
right. It probably should have been dripping some water.
dripping or like, oh crap, you're here. Let me turn off my fan in the garage real quick and pack up something real quick. You'll use the restroom. Go eat, drink a straighter brow. They're in the fridge or
Well,
something like that.
maybe nothing had been packed yet, and
Oh,
so Hank helped him
that
pack
is
everything. And
that's a strong point right there.
Mm.
Strong
All right,
point.
what's happening next?
All right, we're gonna see. We need to have another interaction with Skylar and Walt here to maybe expand a little bit or something or other. Because I honestly did not like that interaction. I thought the finale was considerably better interaction between them,
Mm.
these two. You said that Skylar, was justified in how she is. Yeah, and that's probably her reaction. But it kind of made me like I'm not a, I don't know. Skylar is hit or miss for me. Sometimes she's great. Sometimes she's good. Sometimes she's indifferent.
That
Sometimes
is
she's
fair.
not.
That is
She's
fair.
kind of very unevenly written at times. And how she came across here was like, oh my god, you're selling this, but at the same time, is he paid for all that surgery for himself? Yeah, he did something bad, but it was a means to an end. Like he's doing,
When he
I
could
don't
have
know.
just asked for help when someone offered it.
Yeah, we did talk about pride, didn't we? Quite a bit. Yeah, that is a good point.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, there's got to be another conversation there. I think Gus also is going to try to coerce Walt into it because obviously it's Walt or it's Gus. There's got to be something because I feel like even though we have these two guys coming up the front, up from the south here to go after Heisenberg, Gus, I feel is the real threat in this season or in the show in general, probably because I I feel like he's set up in a way that he has very limited screen time, so he has to have a bigger part to play. I think, but maybe he's like the boss, and like these are the little sub bosses. So maybe the guys coming up are just a little sub boss before you get to the big guy. Who knows? So that's gonna be interesting to see how the whole hierarchy of the villainy and the stuff with Heisenberg goes off. Interested to see how far into the season before we see our first cook scene. I'm gonna probably say we're probably gonna get our first cook scene in episode 4. That's what I'm probably say.
Mhm.
I don't think he's gonna cook. He's gonna be very reluctant to cook because they're gonna try to mix in a lot of the family drama stuff into it because they kind of have to. It's kind of the stuff that's happening right now. And Walter Jr. or Flynn, sorry, Flynn is going to have a nice sit down conversation, probably over a beer with Walt about what actually happened. No, maybe not. That's probably far fetched, but uh, But yeah, that's some of the highlights what I thought of. So maybe not all happening in the next episode, but we'll see.
I like it. Well, we've got a whole season to see what happens. It's gonna
Yeah,
be good.
it's gonna be really good. Breakdown of Breaking Bad. Yes, and we are officially moving this Freightliner down the road. Next week's episode 2 of the season 3. I'm really excited to go into more of this show. First time watching it on Netflix, I should say, because I previously had bought the first 2 seasons on Amazon Prime, reactivated the Netflix account, and guess what? They autoplay, and I was still keeping taking notes, filling out my note on my paper here. I was filling it out, then I heard some music. I was like, "Oh crap, it's playing!" I had to turn it off real quick. I saw a desert, I think. But anyway, that was
It's usually a good call.
it's a desert.
There's desert.
Anyway, so I had to turn it off.
Go figure.
Note itself, and make sure to turn off the Netflix after you're done with the episode. So. Well, that's my last takeaways of the show. So,
all right, sounds good. Let's head on out. Sit and spin.